learn English at home. Easily, there was a boy named Ayan, who lived in a small town where people rarely spoke English. At Bond. Every day, he would watch videos online and dream of speaking English fluently. He believed that only people in big cities or expensive schools could learn English properly. Because of this belief, he never tried seriously. He would open a book, read a few lines, get confused, and then close it again. Days turned into months, and months into years, but nothing changed. Deep inside, he felt frustrated, but he did not know where to start. One day, Ayan met an old teacher in his neighborhood. The teacher asked him a simple question: "Why don't you speak English?" Ayan replied, "I don't have a good environment. I don't go to a big academy. I cannot learn at home." The teacher smiled and said, "You don't need a big place. You need a small habit." That sentence stayed in Ayan's mind all night. For the first time, he started thinking differently. Maybe the problem was not the place. Maybe the problem was his approach. The next morning, Ayan decided to try something new. Instead of opening a heavy grammar book, he picked up his phone and watched a short English video with subtitles. He did not understand everything, but he understood a few words. That day, he learned just 5 new words and repeated them again and again. He spoke them loudly, even if his pronunciation was not perfect. It felt strange at first, but also exciting. After a few days, Ayan created a simple routine. Every morning, he listened to English for 10 minutes. In the afternoon, he read a short paragraph. At night, he spoke to himself in English. Yes, he talked to himself. He described his day, his feelings, and even small things around him. At first, he made many mistakes. His sentences were broken, and his grammar was weak. But he did not stop. He remembered the teacher's words, "You need a small habit." Weeks passed, and something surprising happened. Ayan started understanding more. Blams. The same videos that once felt difficult now seemed easier. He began to notice patterns in sentences. He started thinking in English, even for simple things like, "I am hungry," or "I need water." Pliamed. His confidence slowly grew. He was not perfect, but he was improving. One day, Ayan decided to challenge himself. He recorded his voice speaking English. Land. When he listened to it, he felt embarrassed. But instead of quitting, he compared his recordings week by week. He noticed improvement. His pronunciation became clearer. His sentences became longer. This gave him motivation to continue. Ayan also changed how he used his home. His room became his classroom. Mungand. He put small notes on objects like door, table, and mirror. Every time he saw them, he read them aloud. He started thinking in English while doing daily activities. But while eating, he would say, "I am eating rice." While walking, he would say, "I am going outside." Slowly, English became a part of his life, not just a subject. Months later, Ayan met the same teacher again. This time, the teacher spoke to him in English. Ayan replied, not perfectly, but confidently. The teacher smiled proudly. "See," he said, "you did not change your place. You changed your habits." Ayan realized that learning English at home was not difficult. It only required consistency, patience, and courage to start. From that day, Ayan began helping others. He told his friends that they did not need expensive courses or big cities. They could start at home, just like him. He shared his routine, his mistakes, and his progress. Many people were inspired by his story because it was simple and real. The truth is, learning English at home is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing small things every day. Even 10 minutes of practice can change your life if you stay consistent. You do not need perfect grammar in the beginning. You need confidence to speak, courage to make mistakes, and patience to improve. If you are watching this and thinking you cannot learn English at home, remember Ayan. He started with nothing but a simple habit. And that habit changed everything. You can do the same. Start today, start small, and never stop. Ayan's journey did not stop there. As his confidence grew, he began to explore new ways to learn without leaving his home. One evening, while scrolling on his phone, he discovered that he could change the language of his apps into English. At first, it felt confusing. Simple things like settings, notifications, and privacy looked difficult. But instead of switching back, he decided to face the challenge. Every time he did not understand a word, he searched for its meaning. Slowly, his daily life itself became his teacher. There were still days when Ayan felt tired and unmotivated. Sometimes he would think, "This is too slow. I am not improving." On those days, he wanted to quit. Moms. But then he remembered how he used to know nothing at all. He reminded himself that even small progress is still progress. So, instead of stopping completely, he reduced his practice. Maliand. Even on his worst days, he would listen to English for 5 minutes, or speak just a few sentences. This small effort kept his journey alive. One day, Ayan tried something different. Mond. He stood in front of a mirror and started speaking in English, as if he were talking to a real person. He introduced himself, shared his hobbies, and even told a short story. Mime. At first, he laughed at himself. It felt awkward, but after a few days, he noticed something powerful. His fear of speaking started disappearing. Demiand. The mirror became his silent partner, always ready to listen without judgment. As time passed, Ayan realized that mistakes were not his enemy. They were his best teacher. Earlier, he used to feel embarrassed when he made errors. Now, he started writing them down in a notebook. Every mistake became a lesson. Every correction made him stronger. Mond. He understood that fluency does not come from being perfect, but from practicing without fear. Ayan also began listening more carefully. Instead of just hearing English, he started paying attention to how words were connected. He noticed how native speakers used simple sentences in daily conversation. This helped him speak more naturally. He stopped trying to use difficult words and focused on clear, simple communication. And this made a big difference. One evening, Ayan joined an online group where people practiced English together. He was nervous at first. His heart was beating fast as he typed his first message. But when others replied kindly, he felt relaxed. He realized that many people were just like him, learning step by step. This gave him even more confidence. He started participating more, sharing his thoughts, and asking questions. At home, his family noticed a change in him. He was more confident, more expressive, and more focused. Sometimes, he would even try to speak simple English sentences with them. They smiled and supported him, even if they did not fully understand. This encouragement gave him strength to continue. Months turned into a year, and Ayan was no longer the same person. The boy who once avoided English was now speaking it every day. Mond. He could understand videos, read articles, and express his thoughts clearly. He was not perfect, but he was proud of how far he had come. One day, Ayan sat quietly and thought about his journey. He realized something important. The biggest change did not happen in his English. It happened in his mindset. He stopped making excuses. He stopped waiting for the perfect time or the perfect place. He started using what he already had. he understood that learning English at home is not about having the best resources. It is about using simple tools in a smart way. Your phone, your room, your voice, and your time are enough if you use them consistently. Mons. You do not need to wait for a teacher to tell you what to do. You can become your own teacher. So if you are still waiting for the right moment, this is your sign. You do not need a big change. You need a small start. Speak one sentence today. Learn one new word. Listen to one short video. That is how every journey begins. Mayan's story is not special because he was talented. It is special because he did not give up. And that is something you can do too. Start at home. Start now. And slowly, step by step, you will see your English improve in ways you never imagined. As Ayan continued his journey, he began to notice something deeper. English was no longer just a subject for him. It became a way to express his thoughts, his dreams, and even his fears. One night, he sat alone and tried to explain his feelings in English. His words were simple, sometimes incomplete, but they were real. For the first time, he felt a connection with the language. It was no longer something outside him. It had become a part of him. He also started building a new habit. Every day, he wrote a short paragraph in English about his life. Sometimes he wrote about his day, sometimes about his goals. Sometimes about random thoughts. At first, his writing was full of mistakes, but he did not worry. He focused on expressing himself. Later, he would check and correct his sentences. This habit improved not only his writing, but also his thinking. He started organizing his ideas better, even when speaking. One afternoon, Ayan decided to challenge himself again. He chose a simple story in his native language and tried to translate it into English. It was difficult. He did not know many words, and his sentences were not perfect. But instead of giving up, he used a dictionary and learned step by step. This exercise opened a new door for him. He realized that learning English is not about memorizing everything. It is about finding ways to use what you already know. There were moments when people around him doubted him. Some said, "You cannot learn English properly at home." Others laughed at his mistakes. For a moment, their words affected him. But then he remembered how far he had come. He remembered the days when he could not even form a single sentence. Now, he was speaking, writing, and understanding. That gave him strength. He chose to listen to his progress instead of negative voices. Ayan also discovered the power of repetition. He would listen to the same audio again and again until he understood every word. At first it felt boring, but slowly it became powerful. Each time he listened, he caught something new, with a new word, a new phrase, or a new way of speaking. This simple technique improved his listening skills faster than anything else. One day, he tried speaking English for a full hour. Not perfectly, not fluently, but continuously. He spoke about everything he could think of. His daily routine, his future plans, his favorite memories. Sometimes he paused, sometimes he struggled, but he did not switch back to his native language. After that 1 hour, he felt a huge sense of achievement. It showed him that he was capable of more than he believed. As time went on, Ayan became more creative with his learning. He started watching movies in English without subtitles. At first, he understood very little, but instead of getting frustrated, he focused on catching familiar words. Slowly, his understanding improved. He began enjoying the process instead of fearing it. He also realized that Consistency was more important than intensity. In the past, he used to study for hours one day and then skip many days. Now he practiced a little every day. Even if it was just 10 minutes, he never missed it. This consistency became his secret strength. One evening, Ion looked at his old notebook, and it was full of mistakes, broken sentences, and simple words. But, instead of feeling embarrassed, he smiled. That notebook was proof of his growth. It showed him that every small step mattered. Finally, our Yayan understood the biggest lesson of all. Learning English at home is not about waiting for motivation. It is about building discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward. When you create a routine and follow it daily, improvement becomes natural. Monger. So if you are still thinking that learning English at home is difficult, remember this story. You do not need perfect conditions. You need a strong decision. Use your time wisely. Practice daily. Accept your mistakes. And most importantly, believe that you can improve. Because just like Aeon, one day you will look back and realize that the journey you started at home has changed your entire life. As Aeon moved further along his journey, something unexpected began to happen. He stopped focusing only on learning English and started enjoying it. The pressure he once felt slowly disappeared. Now, when he listened to English, it no longer felt like a task. It felt like a habit, something neutral like eating or walking. This shift made everything easier. When learning becomes enjoyable, improvement becomes faster. One morning, Aeon woke up and did something new. Mond. Instead of thinking in his native language and then translating, he tried to think directly in English. At first, his thoughts were very simple. I am waking up. I need water. Shown today is a good day. These small thoughts seemed insignificant, but they were powerful. Day by day, his thinking became clearer and faster. Mold. He realized that fluency begins in the mind before it comes to the tongue. Aeon also started setting small goals for himself. Not big, scary goals like I will become fluent in 1 month, but simple ones like I will learn 10 new words this week, or I will speak for 15 minutes every day. These goals were easy to follow, and every time he achieved one, he felt proud. This sense of achievement kept him motivated and focused. There was a time when Aeon avoided difficult content because he feared he would not understand it. But now, he started challenging himself. He picked slightly harder videos, slightly longer articles, and slightly faster conversations. He did not understand everything, but he understood enough to learn. This step-by-step challenge helped him grow without feeling overwhelmed. This step. One evening, Aeon decided to teach someone else what he had learned. He explained basic English sentences to his younger cousin. While teaching, he realized something amazing. Explaining things made his own understanding stronger. Teaching forced him to think clearly and use simple language. It also boosted his confidence because he could see how much he knew. As months passed, Aeon began to speak English more naturally. He did not think too much about grammar rules anymore. His sentences flowed more smoothly. Yes, he still made mistakes, but they did not stop him. He had learned that communication is more important than perfection. One day, Aeon recorded a long video of himself speaking in English. When he watched it, he could hardly believe it was him. The boy who once struggled to say a few words was now speaking confidently for several minutes. His journey had not been easy, but it had been real. He then shared his story online. Many people watched his video and felt inspired. They saw themselves in his struggle. They realized that if Aeon could learn English at home, they could too. His story became a source of hope for many learners who felt stuck. Ayan always told them one simple truth: Melody. You don't need a perfect plan. You need to start. He explained that waiting for the right time only delays progress. The best time to begin is now, with whatever you have. In the end, Ayan's journey teaches us something very important. Learning English at home is not about talent, money, or location. It is about mindset, effort, and consistency. Mond. If you are willing to practice every day, even in small ways, you will improve. So take that first step today. Speak a few words. Listen carefully. Read something simple. Write a small sentence. It may feel small, but it is the beginning of something big. Because one day, just like Ayan, you will realize that what once seemed impossible has become your reality. No? And it all started from your home, with one small decision to begin. As Ayan's confidence continued to grow, he began to notice a powerful change inside himself. He was no longer afraid of being judged. Earlier, even the thought of speaking English in front of others made him nervous. His heart would race. His mind would go blank. And he would avoid speaking at all. But now, after months of practice at home, that fear had become smaller. It had not completely disappeared, but it no longer controlled him. One day, Ayan got an opportunity to speak English in front of a small group. It was not a big event, just a simple gathering. Still, for him, it felt like a huge moment. And as he stood there, he remembered all those days. When he practiced alone in his room, speaking to the mirror, repeating words, making mistakes, and trying again. He took a deep breath and started speaking. His voice was not perfect, and he made a few mistakes, but he did not stop. When he finished, something unexpected happened. People appreciated his effort. That moment gave him a new level of confidence. After that day, Ayan understood something very important. The real goal of learning English is not to sound perfect. It is to express yourself clearly and confidently. Perfection comes slowly, but confidence can be built from the beginning. He also started focusing more on listening to real conversations. Instead of only learning from lessons, he began observing how people actually speak. He noticed that native speakers often use simple words, short sentences, and natural expressions. This changed his approach again. He stopped trying to sound too advanced and started focusing on being clear and natural. Ayan created another habit that helped him a lot. Every night before sleeping, he would close his eyes and think about his entire day in English. He would mentally describe what he did, who he met, what he felt, and what he learned. This simple exercise improved both his memory and his speaking ability. It trained his brain to process English naturally. Even without speaking out loud, there were still challenges. Sometimes he would learn a new word and forget it the next day. Sometimes he would understand something today but feel confused again tomorrow. But instead of getting frustrated, he accepted this as part of the process. He understood that learning a language is not a straight line. It goes up and down, but if you keep moving, you will reach your goal. One afternoon, while cleaning his room, Ayan found his very first English notebook. He opened it and read the sentences he had written months ago. They were simple, full of errors, and sometimes incomplete. But instead of feeling embarrassed, he felt proud. That notebook was proof that he had started from zero and kept going. Ayan also realized that learning English had changed more than just his language skills. It had changed his personality. He had become more confident, more patient, and more disciplined. He was no longer afraid to try new things. He had learned how to learn, and that skill would help him in every part of his life. As his journey continued, Ayan made a promise to himself. He would never stop learning. Even after becoming fluent, he would keep improving, keep exploring, and keep growing. Because learning a language is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey. And now, as you listen to this story, think about your own journey. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel like you are not improving. But the truth is, progress is happening, even if you cannot see it immediately. To every small effort counts. Every minute you spend learning is building your future. You do not need to wait for a teacher, a course, or a perfect environment. You already have everything you need. Your home can be your classroom. Your voice can be your tool. Your time can be your greatest investment. And so, start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Speak a little today. Listen a little more tomorrow, and keep moving forward. Lenger. Because one day, just like Ayan, you will stand confidently and realize that you did not just learn English. You changed your life, step by step, from the comfort of your own home. Manda. As time went on, Ayan reached a point where English no longer felt like something he had to practice. It became something he lived with every day. He would wake up and naturally think in English. Dawned. He would watch, listen, read, and speak without forcing himself. The struggle that once felt heavy had now turned into a quiet confidence. 1. But his journey still had lessons to teach him. One day, Ayan tried to have a long conversation with someone fluent in English. At the beginning, he felt strong. He understood most of the words and replied confidently. Balmed. But as the conversation became faster and deeper, he started missing some points. He could not catch every sentence. For a moment, he felt the old fear returning. Maybe I am not good enough yet, he thought. But this time, he reacted differently. Instead of feeling defeated, he treated it as feedback. He realized that learning never truly ends. Lambda. There is always another level. So he went back home and adjusted his routine again. He started listening to faster conversations, podcasts, and real-life discussions. Bonds. He trained his ears to understand different accents and speeds. Ayan also discovered the importance of patience at a deeper level. He understood that real fluency is not built in days or weeks. And it is built over time through repetition, mistakes, and consistency. He stopped rushing himself. He trusted the process more than the results. Another powerful change happened. When Ayan began to enjoy silence. Earlier, whenever he did not know a word, he would panic. Now, he learned to pause, think, and then speak. Mumbat. These small pauses made his speech clearer and more confident. He realized that speaking fast is not the same as speaking well. Speaking clearly is more important. Mond. One evening, Ayan sat on his bed and started speaking in English about his entire journey. From the first day, he struggled to say simple words. To the moment he could hold long conversations. Momder. As he spoke, he felt emotional. Not because the journey was easy, but because he had not given up. He remembered the days when he felt lost, when he thought he could never improve. Maldian. When he compared himself to others and felt behind. But now he understood that everyone has their own pace. Comparing only creates pressure, while consistency creates progress. Median. Mayan also started helping more people around him. Whenever someone said, "I cannot learn English at home," he would smile and share his story. Monges. He would tell them that the biggest barrier is not the environment, but the mindset. Once you change how you think, everything else becomes easier. He would often say, "Do not wait to feel ready. Start, and you will become ready." As the years passed, Aeon became fluent, but he never forgot his beginning. Monde. He never forgot how difficult it was to start, how confusing it felt, and how many times he wanted to quit. That memory kept him humble and motivated. In the end, Aeon's story is not just about learning English. It is about growth, discipline, and belief. It shows that you do not need perfect conditions to achieve something important. Lambdist. You just need to begin and keep going. So if you are still watching and thinking, can I really learn English at home? The answer is simple. Yes, you can. Start with one word, then one sentence, then one habit. Do it every day, even when you do not feel like it. Slowly, quietly, your English will grow, and one day, you will look back and realize that the place you once thought was your limitation, your home, was actually your greatest advantage.